In the enigmatic chapter 19 of the Book of Judges in the Bible, events unfold that pique curiosity and intrigue. In a tumultuous setting, the narrative reveals a mysterious incident involving a Levite and his concubine in the city of Gibeah. Get ready to delve into this fascinating account, where secrets, moral dilemmas, and the quest for divine guidance intertwine, offering a unique journey of discovery and reflection. There's a compelling tale in the Old Testament that, to be completely honest, I consider the most disturbing in the entire Bible. It delves into a narrative that could easily be labeled as inappropriate for younger audiences. Before proceeding with this video, I want to ensure that you're aware of the sensitive nature of the content, as it may trigger traumatic memories from the past. The story in question is tucked away in Judges chapters 19 to 21. While many are familiar with chapter 19, few venture into exploring the complete unfolding of the plot. I believe this narrative carries several crucial lessons that deserve our attention. Before we delve into that, let me share the story dramatically, and then we can explore the valuable lessons we can extract. Let's embark on the story in Judges, chapter 19. In a time when Israel lacked a king, a Levite dwelled in a remote mountainous region of Ephraim. Intriguingly, he acquires a woman from Bethlehem in Judah as his concubine. Note that this man resides in the northern part of Israel, while the woman is in the south, in Bethlehem. The plot thickens as she becomes unfaithful and returns to her father's house in Bethlehem, where she stays for a few months. The story takes a turn as the Levite decides to reclaim his wife. He travels from the mountainous north of Ephraim to the south, in Bethlehem, determined to retrieve her. Upon arrival, her father demonstrates remarkable hospitality. However, the Levite's words reveal a tense impasse. With each insistence to leave, the father responds with a firm no. The plot unfolds with an intensity that defies expectations, inviting us to explore the complexities of this intriguing narrative. Join me as we unravel the mysteries and extract lessons from this disturbing story. On a captivating night, he casually says, "Okay," opting to stay one more night. This pattern repeats for several days until, at last, he makes a decision. With respect, he expresses gratitude for the hospitality, but the need to return home becomes pressing. Thus, he sets out towards his abode, triggering a series of tragic events. The man and his concubine travel from Bethlehem in the south of Israel to the north towards Ephraim. Near Gibeah, as the day dwindles, the servant suggests stopping in the city. However, the master insists on continuing to Gibeah, refusing to halt in a foreign city devoid of Israelites. The journey proceeds, and as they approach Gibeah in Benjamin, the sun sets. Upon arrival, to their surprise, no one is willing to receive them. Hospitality, a significant tradition in Israelite culture, seems non-existent. Late in the night, an elderly man appears in the square and asks why they are still there. Faced with the denial of having been welcomed, he offers his home for them to spend the night. The Levite, his servant, and the concubine accept the offer, stipulating that they only need a place to rest their heads. However, as they enjoy the night, the atmosphere abruptly shifts. Malignant men from the city surround the house, banging on the door and demanding the presence of the man who had entered. What will unfold next is a mystery shrouded in tragedy and suspense. Having a relationship with him, wow, man, this is where the plot takes a mysterious turn. In a place inhabited by perverse men, In the lands of Gibeah of the Benjamites, the story unfolds as they head to the house of an elderly man. With a shocking proposal, they exclaim, "Hey, we know you have a guest. Bring him out so that all of us can have interesting relations with him." Now, what unfolds next is truly astonishing. The homeowner emerges, pleading, "Please, do not commit this wickedness, my brothers. After all, this man came to my house." Get ready to discover the outcome of this story, as the unexpected is about to happen. Atrocity here. "Let me bring my virgin daughter and the man's concubine. Do whatever you want with them, but don't do this outrageous thing against this man." We will deal with it a little later in this video, but what happens next is unthinkable. It says in verse 25, "But the man would not listen, so he took his concubine and took her outside and they left her all night until dawn, and at dawn they left her." Go now, my friend. This is why I said this video may be considered unsuitable for minors and may trigger some things from your past, because I want you to imagine that here is a group of men in the wrong and they are taking turns doing this atrocity with this woman all night until in the morning they finally let her go, and that's what happens to this sad young woman early in the morning. The woman returns and at dawn she collapses at the door of the man's house where her master was. You can imagine that she is so worn out, so beaten all night by these men that she barely has the strength to drag herself back to the house of this man and simply collapses on the porch and lies down. Now see what happens next. It says here that when his master got up in the morning he opened the doors of the house and left to continue his journey. There it was. In a scene shrouded in mystery, the woman, now referred to as his concubine, collapses near the house's door. With trembling hands, she stands at the threshold of something unknown. He whispers, "Get up, let's go," but silence echoes, as if sorrow has stifled any response. She, a victim of abuse, perished in silence. The narrative takes an unexpected turn when the man, showing no mercy, places her on his donkey and heads home. What will happen next is dark and shocking. Upon entering his home, he reveals a sinister side by cutting the woman into 12 parts, limb by limb. The horror transcends when he decides to send the pieces throughout the territory of Israel. The account, interwoven with perplexity, elicits a unanimous reaction from those witnessing the macabre spectacle. The narrator highlights the unprecedented brutality, questioning whether anything so atrocious has occurred since the days of the Israelites' liberation from Egypt. However, the plot reserves more twists. Not content with perpetrating the horror, the man attaches detailed letters to each piece of the victim and sends them to the 12 tribes of Israel. Silence reigns as the tribes read the gruesome account, and the tribe of Benjamin, among its own brothers, is marked by this atrocity. Intertwined in the dark narrative emerges a vital lesson. The absence of responsibility in people's lives leads to disturbing deviations. Judges 19 eloquently reveals that in the absence of kings, everyone is inclined to act without being held accountable. The fear of responsibility is fertile ground for bad decisions, a warning that resonates through the ages. Before we continue, if you are someone who likes to learn more about and deepen your knowledge about the Bible and wants to continue receiving more content like this, subscribe to the channel now and activate the notification bell. Don't forget to leave your like so that YouTube can recommend the videos for you. In the realm devoid of a king, there was only a law, yet people disregarded its authority, rendering it unenforced. The unfolding of this disobedience led them to commit unimaginable acts. In the second lesson I share, the importance of recognizing every human being as a bearer of the divine image resonates. An intriguing narrative emerges. A man, in defense of values, challenges conventions, preferring that they do as they please with him but safeguard his daughter and another man's concubine. This man, whose mindset reveals a unique perspective on life and virtue, prompts us to reflect. The third revelation arises as we delve into a video illustrating how, by distancing ourselves from God, we become susceptible to unthinkable acts. The Book of Judges, seen as a whole, paints a picture of a nation gradually distancing itself from God, culminating in chapters 19 to 21. Here, we witness the extreme consequences of this separation. The truth unfolds before us. The farther we move away from God, the more prone we become to actions we never thought we would undertake. This narrative is not exclusive to an ancient nation but resonates in our lives. Maintaining a close connection with God is crucial, otherwise, we stray, drift away, and find ourselves enveloped in a darkness that leads us to unimaginable deeds. In the depths of Israel, we unveil an intriguing plot where present actions defy past expectations. There's a surprising twist, a complex dance between destiny and human choices. Imagine yourself a decade ago, someone trying to predict that individuals would engage in unthinkable acts. Those who asserted with conviction, "I will not get divorced, I would never have an affair," or "it's impossible to be fired for watching something online," now find themselves weaving the webs of what they once deemed unthinkable. However, the story doesn't reach its climax in chapter 19, instead, it plunges deeper into turmoil. Chapter 20 reveals a civil war among the tribes of Israel, a bloody battle against the tribe of Benjamin, whose heinous act against an Israelite brother triggered such conflict. As the narrative unfolds, thousands of lives are lost in a monumental battle, leaving only 600 surviving Benjamite men. Chapter 21 unveils a complex human dilemma, an unexpected compassion for the consequences of their own actions. The once vengeful 11 tribes now fear the imminent extinction of the tribe of Benjamin. Read chapters 20 and 21 carefully to unravel the details of this epic struggle and its repercussions. The reckless decision of one tribe set off an irreversible chain of events, highlighting a crucial fourth lesson: every choice, whether good or bad, weaves its own destiny, and the consequences cannot be cherry-picked. Listen, you can choose your sin, but the consequences are uncontrollable. Every decision you make sets off a chain of events, and the problem is personal. We have no control over these consequences. Now, look at what happens with these Israelites. They kill men from the clan called Jabes Gilead, and among them are 400 women who have never been with a man. So, these 400 women are given to 400 of the 600 Benjamite men so that they can procreate. But what's the problem? It's a matter of simple math. Initially, there were 600 Benjamite men without wives because all of them were killed. Now, 400 of them have wives from the clan of Jabes Gilead. The problem arises when they realize that there are still 200 Benjamite men without wives. Here's the point: one bad decision often leads to another. And what happens next is intriguing. These Israelites, faced with this situation, decide to reassess the oath they made. They say something like, "We swore not to give our daughters to any of the Benjamites, but we didn't say anything about if they were taken." So, they make another questionable decision and propose a unique solution. They say to the Benjamites, "There will be a festival soon, some of our daughters will be dancing and having fun. Technically, we can't give our daughters to you, but if you find them and take them, that's your problem. We'll be free from this oath, and you can have a wife and procreate. What unfolds next is a peculiar festival, where these 200 men have the chance to find their future wives. The Benjamites embark on a daring act, stealing and kidnapping women as they dance at a party, making them their wives. Now, I know this sounds like a crazy story, and I tried to summarize it quickly, but the central point is this: one bad decision often triggers another, and all these poor choices directly impact the lives of many people. Go back to this narrative and see how many lives were negatively affected by a wrong choice. Some of the Benjamite men may have deserved what happened to them, but most of the people in Benjamin were innocent and still died in battle. The people of Jabes Gilead also suffered, and women were torn from their lands to be given to the Benjamites. These same women, in turn, were kidnapped by the Benjamites, taken away from their families. All of this unfolded due to bad decisions. However, here is the fifth and final lesson I want to share and encourage you to reflect on today: even in the midst of our most destructive decisions, God offers grace. Note how the book of Judges concludes, describing how the Benjamites rebuilt their cities, returned to their inheritance, and lived in them. Each Israelite returned to their tribe and family, each to their own inheritance. The last verse of the book of Judges echoes like a refrain throughout the entire book, emphasizing that in those days there was no king in Israel, and everyone did what seemed right. While God was gracious in allowing the tribe of Benjamin to rebuild and repopulate, the consequences of their decisions persisted. If there's one thing you should take from this video, it's understanding that every choice you and I make, every decision we make sets off consequences, often immeasurable and beyond our control. There are ramifications that escape our ability to measure, and we frequently encounter unexpected outcomes. What learning did you take into your life from listening to this biblical story? Leave your opinion in the comments below, and if you are someone who would like to know more about the mysteries and stories of the Bible in an easy-to-understand way, watch the recommended videos below here on the channel, as we have little-known stories that you need to know. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you soon.